Social Security and National Insurance Trust has increased the monthly pensions allowance by 15%. According to a statement issued today by Evangeline Amegashi, SSNIT Corporate Affairs Manager, the increment takes effect from January 15. This is good news, isn't it? Yeah. And the Social Security and National Insurance Trust, in accordance with Section 80 of the National Pensions Act, has increased monthly pensions by 15.0% for 2015. That means that minimum monthly pension for fresh pensioners shall be 230 cedis, whilst for old pensioners is going to be 246 cedis, we're told. Quickly, let me ask you, Kamaldeen, for me it's good news. Yes. What do you think about it?
For me, I'm receiving it with mixed feelings, and I would have to tell you why I'm receiving it with mixed feelings.
Okay.
We have workers today having issue up in arms with the same government, with same law at 766.
Okay.
Not too long ago, I think the matter is still in court or so. I'm yet to be schooled by him anyway, whether the matter is still in court or not, because they took it to court and then they also countersued and all that.
Okay.
Workers who, of course, are supposed to be pensioners in future were up in arms against this government. As to where the matter has gotten to is a problem. And see, they were up in arms against the government because they thought that the very law that is today, somebody is saying is good news, that they have stood on to increase the pensions, as it were, allowances.
Okay.
It's the very law that the same workers think that it's not being used well per their second-tier pension issue. So for me, to choose and pick this selective application thing in governance to suit you and to tout that that is your achievement or not your achievement, well, they are quick of doing that. We saw SSS, what they did. We implemented SSS. The next moment they came and told us SSS is giving us a problem. We have 70% of our money being paid. This is the way they rationally do things anyway. I would say that it's good news to have the increment, and once we have stood on this law Act 766/2008 to say that we are increasing it, let us look at the very law that says that allow them to have access to the people they want or the scheme they want to manage their second tier as well, so the workers will also be happy. You see, this all brouhaha in the media and in the public domain about pension scheme, about social security, it should not be so. If there is good governance, my brother, your security is what you are after retiring, you can go to enjoy. But you don't come and sit here and say because we have increased it, it's good news anyway. And the next moment, when they tell you that my second tier should also be managed by the law and this, you say, no, that one, the government says there's no sure of it. So you see, me, this double standard will not help us. Let us not bring this to kill the first one. The first one is still there. We'll cure it with the law as well.
Solomon, the first one is still there, cure it. How is government handling this whole pension scheme? Because we've had a number of issues with those ones.
Government is not going to be dictated to by the opposition. Government will do.
But the opposition is supposed to keep government on its toes.
Yes, but not when.
So maybe it's just a reminder.
Opposition becomes irritant. Let me proceed with what I was saying. You see, with the history and the atmosphere that we have, and then the financial situations, not long ago, another microfinance institution got collapsed, and a lot of people lost their asset in financial terms. You recall of the infamous pyramid and the other things that took place, Obutan investment and the likes, and why SSNIT was impressed upon to even move away from the investing in the housing scheme that has caused us as a nation. It was a way of some individuals trying to wage a psychological warfare on SSNIT not to aid workers in a better pension. What is of essence when a pensioner receives even 1,000 Ghana, but his or her rent exceeds that amount of money just because housing is in the hands of the private sector who dictate the pace? So that one is a blow to the ordinary Ghanaian worker. Now, this thing my brother is talking about as to let the other thing works, he might fall contempt because the case is before a competent court of education.
I choose my
that's
well.
I'm coming. No. I am only advising you, and you are at liberty to take it or leave it. Government has been that responsible. Government did not act, as it were, in the areas where government will say no court or nobody can direct government. We have sent it to where cases are tested, where problems are solved legally. And because what brought about that brouhaha emanated from the law, it is through the law that it will be sorted out. Now we are before the court. When the court gives its ruling, then we can come and say whether government has treated workers with contempt or not. Also, a government being a father and a mother must always take decisions, whether bitter or sour. The son will grow to appreciate it or not. Where we are now, it's like in a compound house, in our traditional setting, and a rival home. When one family advise their children, the rivals come to eavesdrop. When they leave for work, they call their children and misinform them. Your parents are not doing anything better for you. It is us who can help you. If you don't have children who have God-fearing and who are well-trained, these children will go wayward. And that is what is happening in this country. We have opposition that prays, acts, behaves, such that nothing better should happen, so that it will inure to their benefit politically. And so
I think I have Miss Evangelina Megashi on the line. She's the Corporate Affairs Director of SSNIT, and she'll help us understand this whole increment and changes in the pension scheme. Good morning, madam, and thanks for joining me.
Good morning, thank you.
We're hearing some good and fantastic news that our old men and women will enjoy some more. Kindly explain more on that.
The National Pensions Act, which was promulgated in 2008, obliges SSNIT by Section 80 of that Act to index or increase pensioners' pensions every year. And we have been doing this judiciously since 1992. We have used various percentages, and in 2015, the pension has gone up by 15%, which means that the minimum pension for any new pension is going to be 230 Ghana cedis.
So what really went into the 15% increment?
We use economic indicators, and in conjunction with the NPRA, we fixed the percentage that will go or will be increased on the following year. Because we use rates from 2014 to increase the pension for the following year.
We have to, we're told that fresh pensioners will take 230 Ghana cedis, while the old ones will take 246. How did you come by those figures?
Last year, we increased it by 100%. So we realized that those who were enjoying 100 Ghana cedis in 2013, in 2014, the minimum pension was 200 Ghana cedis. So those who were enjoying 200 Ghana cedis as of December 31, their pension has gone up by 46.92%. Now, those who are now joining in, if you take the 15%, so 15% of 200, so they are getting 230 Ghana cedis monthly. Just like you join a new job, you stay in for 1 year, you get your salary. At the end of the year, they give you an increment. So the somebody who is coming in new is not going to be the same as you, the one who used to be there. This is the minimum pension, but it ranges between 246 or 230 for the newcomers to about 22,000. The highest pension earner collects over 22,000 Ghana cedis a month. And we should always pension of the pension is based on three cardinal points. One is salary, which is key. One is the length of service and the time you retire. These three things indicate how much you collect when you retire.
Okay. Are you on the line, Miss Evans?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're talking about some delays, or over the years we've had delays in payment of the people who are on pension. Does that mean that with the increment we're also going to be seeing that problem resolved?
When it comes to payment, if you're already on pension, every third Thursday of the month, the pension goes, and we use the ACH. So it goes through Bank of Ghana, it goes through the account immediately. It's only when you are about 72 years and over that we stop. That's a life certificate. But every month, when you go on pension, every month you get it. Unless you change your bank and you didn't inform us. So that it means that it goes there and it comes back to us. But if you're on pension, every third Thursday, we even give them a calendar. Every third Thursday, sometimes it's even earlier, they get their pension paid.
There have been complaints of the money being too little, and I'm happy that you've increased it by 15%. But should we expect more increment? Because certainly, even the amount as it stays now there's still more to be done. We need to increase it further, because that is not anything to write home about.
I think I mentioned earlier that there are certain things that indicate how much pension you even start. Those who are collecting the 230, the rate of their salary, if we use them as they were, they wouldn't even get 200 Ghana cedis a month.
Okay.
As their monthly salary. But we have fixed a minimum pension that if you don't collect it at all, but if you want to go by what they earn or what they contributed, it will have gone to woefully below 200 Ghana cedis. I indicated that somebody is collecting 22,000 Ghana cedis. So it means that the person was earning higher. And you know that from 55 up to before the redenomination, salaries were impossible. And there are some people, they don't even collect, they don't pay all the contributions. Some of the employers pay their allowances as a side. If you don't add it to the salary, the percentage that is deducted for social security is very meager. So we always advise workers that they should insist that their salary should be consolidated. That would be very good for them.
Okay, give me a second. Kamaldeen, earlier on you made mention of a second-tier pension,
yes,
which you want to be addressed, isn't it?
Frankly, I think SSNIT is not the ones handling it. SSNIT is beyond her. SSNIT actually handles the first tier, and which, of course, is the allowances that they receive as pension on it, which they have rightly done. And she says that judiciously they've been doing it per what the law says. Now, my argument was basically not on this one, but on the second tier.
All right, Miss Amegashi, I'll thank you so much for your explanation. It's been well noted. Thank you so much. Have a great day, and I'll come back to you.
Well, yes. She's not with you.
Okay, come on. I wanted to take your issue on, but I just realized that she cannot answer that question. So let's go back to Solomon, who was making it. He will come back. Come on, he's been saying something.
As leader of the opposition, they've been giving some tutorials not to allow us to make any meaningful reasonable discourse with the public. So I'm happy with his antics. My sister, for instance, what has transpired is one of the finest interactions or relationship management scheme a government has put in place. Workers were unhappy. They went on strike. Government didn't say, I've sacked all or I've denounced all their remuneration, but rather government decided to take a justifiable cause by going to the court for court to ask them not to be on strike, so that whoever goes on strike, then you do so at your own peril. And people also respected the ruling, and they've now resorted to going to work. Going forward from that, we are before court. The case is being adjudicated. My advice to him is to follow the case. When you follow it, it's then that you know whether government has a stake in it or not. But if you sit in the comfort of your party headquarters and you conjure things out of the elephant, you understand, you end wrongly.
Advice well noted.
Interesting. You see, when you are taking advice from a maladvisor, then you ought to be careful. The point I want to make clear here is that we cannot compare apples with oranges. Talking Piram, which was a microfinance company that was not licensed, and talking what is embedded in law. There are two different issues. Wait a minute. Please, I'm talking Piram. You mentioned Piram.
You had your take. Let him also make it.
That's why I told you, taking advice from a maladvisor is dangerous. You see, the gentleman sitting here is not even aware that Piram was not regulated. Today we have National Pension Regulatory Commission. We have a law per the Act here, which talks of the first tier, the second tier, and the third tier. Okay? These are organized sectors. Like he rightly said, I am being careful talking because the matter is in court. But we are talking on the face of it, what ought to have been done, in our view, anyway, not what the court is supposed to do, anyway. Now, you see the regulation clearly. Here, there's no regulation. And you come sit here and say, oh, we are fathers, and therefore, we what? We don't want what happened around Piram, Piram to happen again. That was the impression you did. And when you did this, I think that it's unfortunate. The Ghanaian worker is watching you. Look, for the very first time, Aisha, in this country, we had organized labor throughout the country.
I have had your take.
Putting the tool down. Look, putting their tool down and going on what? A strike for one day to register their what? Disaffection towards the government. We've seen it again. For the second time, we've had organized labor. You see what we did when we came in 2004, when we were in power. We said, look, the pension sector has a problem. We quickly put up a commission and said, look at it. And that they worked throughout to get the law now, which is in place, promulgated in 2008. That was a mark of a good leadership, a mark of good governance. You can't sit here and the very law is there. You say you are putting the law aside because you are a father and you want to go and decide your own thing.
I don't think he said that.
No, he said so. He said you are a father.
Putting the law aside.
When you are a father.
Yeah.
No,
take decisions. You take decisions for it. I think I heard him say that.
Why are the workers up in arms against them? The workers have an argument that no, the law says this is what you're supposed to be.
That is not what the law says.
That's what you. That's why you are in court. Let the court say it now.
And so wait.
Let's wait till the court comes out and then we can.
Now, the guy was sitting here talking apples and oranges, trying to say that this thing.
And you made your point clear that we cannot compare apples and oranges.
So forget your Piram jaundice argument.
On that Piram jaundice argument, it takes me to my next.